Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of One Man Stream. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a stinger and how to control that stinger using vMix UTC, and I'll show you how that's going to work. And that's a quick little stinger that I created for one of my MMA promotions. But as you saw, it cleared all the overlay channels, and then it brought in that stinger, and immediately after the stinger, then it started to play a replay clip. And I'm going to show you how to do that and how to control it using vMix UTC. You may be wondering how that was created. I actually created the stinger using Apple Motion. And if you don't have Apple Motion, you can make it in something like Final Cut Pro or any type of an application that's going to allow you to animate or make your logo look 3D and then allow you to be able to manipulate it after the fact. So this is what it looks like in Apple Motion, and it's very simple. And I'm gonna make this setup available in the comments in this tutorial. You'll be able to, if you have Apple Motion, you'll be able to download this for free. And it's very simple. It's just a couple replicators, and then I put in a couple keyframes at the very beginning, and then I rotated the image 360 degrees, and I put in another keyframe. That's what allows that image to spin around. So what I'm doing here is I actually had it set up for my One Man Stream logo, but the logo I showed you just a minute ago was this Future of Fighting logo. So all I did was turn the One Man Stream logo off and turn the Future of Fighting logo on. And in just a moment, I'm going to animate that Future of Fighting logo, and I'm going to go ahead and press play. And you can see where it takes that flat logo, makes it 3D, and then it gives it a 360 degree spin. Like I said, that's very simple to create and it's very easy to do, and I'm going to make this available in the description of this particular tutorial. So now what I'm demonstrating is I brought in the One Man Stream logo, and now I'm rotating the One Man Stream logo. So it was actually very simple and very straightforward. Well, I'm going to talk you through the process. So once you have that rendered out as an MP4 file, what you have to do is you have to make it a image sequence so you can use it in vMix. Let me go to this view right here. If you go right down here to the hamburger menu, you have a lot of different items that'll pop up, and I'm going to use a vMix video tools. You can see that comes up right here, and I'm going to use the drop down menu, and I'm going to create an image sequence. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit browse, and I'm going to go to this right here, and I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to call this One Man Stream image sequence, because it's going to make a whole lot of little individual pictures for me. And I'm going to click OK. Then I'm going to click browse, and then I'm going to come to this folder I just created, title it One Man Stream, and I'm going to click save. So there you can see the path. Now I'm going to go ahead and convert it, and you can see that it's going through the conversion process, and it tells me it was complete. So now let's go back to that folder, and you can see all those individual pictures now coming in. So now we're going to go back to vMix, as you see right here, and I'm going to come down here to where it says add input, and I'm going to click on image sequence. And I'm going to take this to that image sequence file, and I'm going to select that very first image, and I'm going to click open and click OK. Now it's loading that image sequence for me. So let's go ahead and click play, and you can see where it brought that image sequence in. Well, you could bring it in as an MOV or an MP4, but I like doing it this way because it uses less resources. So let's hit the play button, and you can see it spinning around. Let's just go ahead and do this. I'll go ahead and bring it up, and I'll click cut, and you can see it spin around behind me. So one thing I want to do is I want to slow it down a little bit. So all I did was right click on that input, and right now it's at 100%. Let's take it down to about 71% and hit play. And there we go. It's a little bit slower. So I like that. Okay, so now we have that brought in as an image sequence. How do we get that to fire off when we're doing a replay? Well, that's where vMix UTC comes in. So I'm going to go to my vMix UTC setup. And if you look over here, I have a button. Well, let me do this. Okay, and now you can see the output from our main vMix production. You can see that right up here. So now I've got these two buttons here. I've got one that says replay with splash, and I've got one that says just replay. So let's go ahead and click on the replay with splash. And that's my replay clip right there playing. And after that plays, it's going to bring us back to whatever was in preview. So what happens if I hit the replay? Well, all that does is it plays the replay, but it doesn't show the splash. And I use that when I show it the first time, but then I want to slow it down. It's the second time I show it. I don't want to run that stinger again, so I just run the replay. Now, you can see right now that this is set up for the Future of Fighting one. Okay, so now how do we set this up in vMix UTC to run the new one-man stream image sequence that we just brought in? Well, let's go back to this for just a second, and I'm going to open up this button here that says Replay with Splash. And you can see that we have several pieces or several commands in here. The very first command that we have is overlay input all off. I want to turn all overlays off. Then I run a really quick timer that's just 100 milliseconds, and that's just to give that all off a time to take hold before we do the next command. That next command is overlay input X, and this is where our image sequence comes in, but this one is set up for the Future of Fighting image sequence. So if we click the down arrow and go to the bottom, which is probably the very last one that we did, it's this one right here. We're going to click on this, and that's going to bring in that new one-man stream. The next piece is another timer. We're going to run this timer for the length of time that it takes that to play out, which is going to be about a little over 1 second. So we're going to have a timer while this is playing out, and then we're going to go to overlay input X off on overlay channel 3. That's the same channel that we brought that stinger in on. So we're bringing the stinger in on overlay channel 3. We're letting it play out. Then we're taking that off. We're running another quick timer, and then we're executing this link right here that says play selected. I'll show you where that comes in just a second. And then what we want to do is we want to restart that clip in case it didn't play all the way out. This one was set up for the Future of Fighting image. We're going to change that to the one-man stream image. We want that to be available the next time that we run that stinger. Let's go ahead and click the replay with splash and see what happens now. You can see where it brought in the one-man stream logo. It did the 360 spin, and then it brought us back to what we had in our preview window. Okay, the one thing that I didn't tell you about was this play selected. And I have a button over here. It's kind of small, but it says play selected. And if I click that, it's going to play whatever replay clip I have selected. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on that, and you can see it playing out that replay clip. And then it goes back. Well, let's look behind this button. On this button, we entitled it Replay Selected, and we have the execute box checked here, and we have a link in there that says Play Selected. That's where the play selected is coming in on the replay splash. So see where that says execute link play selected? When it gets down here to this command, execute link play selected, that's what it's doing. It's playing the selected replay clip. This also works if you have several replay clips selected. If you have 4 or 5 replay clips selected that you want to play between rounds, say you're doing combat sports, you would just select all those, and then you would just click that button, and it's going to play that out for you. So let's look at it one more time. I'm going to go ahead and hit that replay with splash. And you can see where it brings that replay clip in, and then it's going to bring us back to our preview window. So that's today's tutorial. It was a quick and fun tutorial. It's how to create a stinger and how to use that stinger with vMix UTC. As I said, I will have that motion project available in the description of this tutorial. So if you're interested, you can download it, and then all you'll have to do is import your logo. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, when you render that out in motion, you want to make sure you render it in a specific codec, which is the, I can't remember what precedes it, but it's the 4444 codec, and you want to render the color plus alpha. And when you do that, it's only going to render out that image. So make sure that you do that when you're rendering out in motion, that you use color plus alpha, and you use, I think it's ProRes 4444, and you use alpha or color and alpha. So that's our tutorial for today. This has been One Man Stream episode 142, how to create a stinger and operate that stinger in vMix UTC. If you like what we're doing here at One Man Stream, please give us a thumbs up and a like. Make sure you do subscribe so that you'll be alerted as soon as new videos are posted. And if you have a moment, please stop by our website. That's onemanstream.com. That's where we have our graphics store and more. We have all the graphics that we've created through this tutorial journey, as well as many of the vMix UTC setups as well. They're just a few dollars a piece, but it is a way that you can help support me here at One Man Stream. And as always, thank you so much.